Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. And today we're going to be just settling in, nice, deep relaxation work. I hope that you will find. So, prop wise, we don't need a whole lot today, but you can always bring in more if you need it. So, I've got a block here as an option for one of the poses we're going to be doing. You may not need this at all, but I've just got it in case. And then I'm sitting on a folded blanket. I've got an extra folded blanket here and my bolster cushion. And I will use these as modifications for a couple things that we'll do as well. So from here, let's get into it. I'm just gonna readjust this blanket here. Good. So sitting in a comfortable place for you. So that might be crisscross applesauce, might be legs, forward. You might be sitting back on the ankles, whatever feels good to you. Wherever you're at, could you find a nice tall spine? So growing up from the tail to the crown, eyes can be closed or gaze down. And then as you're here, notice if you could soften just a little bit more somewhere. So could that be through the hips, through the shoulders, even through the jaw? And then as we soften and continue to turn inward, can we bring that awareness to the breath? So could we inhale through the nose and expand the rib cage, holding that breath at the top, and then slowly release through the nose. And we'll go again. Inhale and expand. Hold. And slowly release. And one more time. Inhale and expand. Hold. And slowly release. Good. Let's prepare the spine. Big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale. Let's get a nice side bend. I'm going to my left first. Reaching over. So I'm really reaching from my fingertips all the way down to the shoulder. And I'm pressing this right hip into the floor as well. And notice if you've got this forward collapse. And if you do, could you open that up? Now, different things for different people. You can stay right here. You can come out. You can side bend deeper. Or maybe you'd like to open towards the back just a little bit here. Maybe adjusting the arm, finding your best stretch. And then from here, coming back center and moving through center. Big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale, we'll side bend this over, reaching over. Again, watch the shoulder alignment, reaching from the fingertips all the way down, maybe even depending on your alignment, all the way down into that hip. And then you choose. Staying here. Maybe you want to side bend deeper. Maybe you want to open back. Find what you need. Find it where you need it. And then coming back center and coming back up. Let's take a big inhale. I'm going to take my hands behind my head here. Good. And I'm going to relax my shoulders. I'm just going to go ahead and just move my elbows forward and back. Good. And then from here, I'm going to take my twist to my left. Good. So I'm nice and tall. Good enough from here. Could you just release the hands and reach? I've got a wall in the way behind me. Relaxing the shoulders. Taking hands back behind the head, and we'll come back center. We'll take that to the other side. So nice and tall. We're going to rotate towards the right. Good. And then extending the arms out. Relaxing the shoulders. Bringing hands back behind the head and coming back center. Just take the hands to the shoulders from here. Again, move forward and back. Notice how it's a little bit different when you do it here versus when the hands are behind the head. And then let's take this into some circles as well. And reverse directions. Good. And just shake that out. Good. So our first pose today is going to be a child's pose. We're going to hold this one for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So you can have whatever it is you need. So I'm just going to move this blanket out of the way here. But if you need extra cushion for the knees, you can always, take a few blankets out. You can take the knees about hip width apart and come back here. You can take it as wide as the mat. Take yours where you need to take it. You can have cushioning or support under the trunk here. I'm going to take my arms forward. You can always take the forehead down, the hands back by the ankles if you need to. Set our timer here. Good, in 2 minutes. And while we're here, you can go ahead and set an intention. So for me, it's letting go of anything that's not serving my body during the practice. Consider that coughing or eyes watering is a sign of letting go. Expanding that breath, zipping up from the pubic bone behind the navel. And then from here, once you're ready, we'll take the hands under the shoulders and we'll carefully come up. Let's come onto the belly here. Good. We'll just recover from that for a moment. Just taking the legs long. Make a little recovery pillow with the hands. And you can be here in stillness. You can also just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the hips around. Give yourself what it needs. Just a big breath. And then now when you're ready, good. Hands under the shoulders, and we'll press back. We're going to come to a wide-legged forward fold here, a wide-legged forward fold. And I'm going to bring in my blanket back to sit on. Or you don't have to sit on a blanket, but sometimes if we're a little tighter than what we're expecting when we start, sometimes that can be helpful. So on this one, we're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So for example, you want to come before your edge. So here's my widest. I don't want to be that wide. I want my body to be able to settle in and go somewhere. So I'm going to come in just a little bit more from that. Hip, knees, and toes are tracking forward, maybe even a little anterior tilt of the pelvis. So the frontal hip bones are going to rock forward as the tailbone rocks backward. Again, you can have any support under here as you need it. And then from here, big inhale, arms up, nice and tall. Exhale, long spine, hinging forward. When you can come no more with that long spine, take the hands down. Just let the shoulders relax. If your toes, knees, and hips turned inward on this one, turn them back towards the ceiling. For those of you that are really tight in your hamstrings, you can always support the back of your knee here with a hand towel or other rolled up blankets or pillows. As you inhale to expand, exhaling to release. As you feel like you're able to come into something a little bit deeper, you can allow yourself to do that if safe for your body, still keeping good form. And as always, if you need to come out before the time, please listen to your body and do so. Do not stay anywhere that's no longer working for you. Softening through the face. Softening through the shoulders, but not collapsing through the shoulders. Carefully, carefully come out here. And I'm going to take my fingers behind my knees and bring them in. Good. And I'm just going to get a little bit of a rock here. So we're going to counter that with a deer pose. It's also going to have a twist in it and an optional fold for those of you that want that. And this one will be 2.5 minutes on each side. Apologize for the beeping here. Good. So the setup for this, there's a couple different things, and a lot of it has to depend on the person. So you can do this sitting up on a folded blanket or something or not. Now, I don't need that now. I'm more open than I was. So I'm going to put my blanket to the side. You can take both feet over to one side and then get your twist and then your fold in if you want that. Or you can come into like a Z sit. So this is my right leg here and my left leg kind of just coming straight back just like that. And then from there, get your twist and your fold if you want it. So the fold is the bonus. So we'll do 2.5 minutes here. I'm just reach because it feels good to reach and rotate and take that down. Good. And then I'm going to take this down. Now, I can come down here mostly on my forearms. You can also support yourself here with a cushion or some blocks, whatever it is that you have. You can even make it more restorative if you want, kind of building yourself up here and then getting a nice little head support there. Just kind of find what you need, what you want. I'm actually gonna, this feels a little bit better here. See? So stretching is okay. Strain is never okay. So I felt a little bit of a strain when I came down to my forearms unsupported a while ago. So putting this bolster here took out that strain in my back for me. Breathing. And take as many expansive breaths as you can. Nice and slow and controlled though. And from here, good. If you went down into the fold, come up from that first, and then coming out of the twist. Good. We're going to take that right into the other side. So just as a precaution, I'm going to take my bolster over to the other side. So again, choose what you need to do. Do you need to sit up on something? Maybe not. Do you need to just kind of have your feet stacked like this? Do you need to do the Z? Do you want to do the Z? Knees and hips will often dictate if the Z is a good thing or a bad thing or not. Then once you're in place, take a big inhale, reaching up. We're going to rotate. Hands can come down here and or fold into whatever you're going to use. Yes, this was a good decision on this side. Good breathing and expanding. Notice what you feel, where you feel it. Pain is never normal. So if you feel that, obviously you want to back off. It's okay to sink deeper. Allow yourself to do so. Expand the rib cage as you inhale. Relaxing the jaw. Soften the face. And then from here, once ready, good. If you took the fold, come out of the fold first, and then gently come back to center. Good. We're going to counter all of that with a caterpillar pose, which is a seated forward fold, if you want to do it that way. So this one will be 3 minutes. And there's different ways that you can do this one. And this is where you could bring in a block here if you want something a little bit more active. So I'll show you here. So you can always sit up on something here if you need to. Legs are going to come forward in front of you. You can lengthen, you can take this block and be here if you would like. A lot of this depends on your flexibility and where you are in your practice. That's one way to do it. If you want something a little bit more gentle and restorative, you can take a bolster on top and let that be your support. You can always just kind of let it come through the feet a little bit here if you want that. These are options, not requirements. Good. I'm going to take my bolster to the side. I'm not going to use either one of them. I'm just going to take a forward fold. And we're going to be here for 3 minutes, so be mindful of that as well. Good. Big inhale and we'll reach. Good. Long back. Good. Hands down. Now, as you get settled in with the long back, if it's safe for you to roll, kind of get that C curve roll, then you can go there. If not, just keep the long back. Micro bend the knees as needed. Breathing and expanding into the rib cage. And return to your intention. My intention was gratitude because we got some rain, much, much, much needed rain. And more rain seems to be coming, so I'm very gracious about that. So I just caught myself here. Soften through the shoulders if you feel them getting creepy up by the ear. Good. Back off if you need to back off a little bit. So I'm going to back off just a little bit here. And notice sometimes too, even if you back off, it also doesn't mean that you can't sink back in a little bit as well. So just let your body be your guide. It is your best teacher. And notice where you feel things. So even though I'm balanced in both of my sits bones, I feel a stretch more down the left side of my back than I do the right side. Mhm. Now, gently, gently come out of here. We never want to just snap out of a yin pose. Shouldn't snap out of any pose, actually, for that matter. Good. And then if it would feel good to you to get a gentle rotation in one direction for a moment, just take that. And then same thing for the other side. Good. So from here, we're going to take this into cobbler's pose now. So we're going to get into the hip. Good. And I can show you a modification with that block too, as well as with the blankets if needed. So this is going to be another 3 minute a 3 minute pose. So different things for different people. You can sit up on the A folded blanket if needed. The soles of the feet are going to come together and the knees are out to the side. If you're really tight in the hips, you'll know that because your knees want to be jacked up. There's a couple things you can do. You can also do this with pillows, but it's a little bit more comfortable. You can do this with folded blankets for support, just like that. That actually feels pretty lovely. So I'm just going to leave that there, even though my hips aren't really tight. That just feels really good. And then if you're going to choose to fold in here and then round, but maybe your forehead doesn't touch the toes, you can take a block or two and stack them on the feet. You can have a block or two and stack them in front. This might work even here. Looks like that's going to work for me today. So just kind of find it where you need to find it, and knowing that the head touching something is 100% optional and never a requirement, not here or in any of the flow-based classes as well. So I'm just going to leave that right here. Good. And you're welcome to stay here if this is enough work for you. You can take a log back and then keeping that long back and find that engagement, or you can round, just kind of find where you need to be and breathe. Big breath. Always coming back to breath, always coming back to intention. And making any adjustments that your body needs along the way. Hmm. Okay. So from here, I'm going to come back up. I'm going to remove my blankets that I used here. And some of you may use a block for this as well, or a folded blanket. It just kind of depends. We're going to go into a little bit of a back bend. And for those of you where deep extension is not a good idea, I want you to put your bottom on a block, a folded blanket, or a bolster. So you're going to come into a supportive bridge, basically there. Otherwise, I'm going to use my bolster here. Good. And I'm just going to roll over the back. And we're not going to be here very long. This is just a counter to some of that deep flexion that we did. And you're free to kind of just wiggle around. Knees can be bent, legs can be long. Breathe and expand. And then from here, some of you are going to do some different things. So again, depending on what you have, you're going to choose, am I going to be in the supported bridge and just be here because this feels good today? Am I going to scoot down a little bit on that prop and come into a supported plow pose? So you need to have your prop all the way under your back here. So then when you take your legs up, good, you've got that support in the low back, you can come to the supportive plow pose. Now, there are some of you out there, no doubt, that can do a full plow here. And if you would like to do that, you can. But I like this one. And then I can also just bend my knees while I've got that low back support and just be right here. So wherever you're going, be mindful. This is going to be a 3-minute one, our last 3 minutes, and just kind of find where you would like to be. Nothing is under the head or the neck. And if you're doing the inversion that I'm doing here, and you feel that bone at the base of the neck uncomfortably popping out, then we're too deep and we need to back off. And then you can kind of play where the feet are, the legs are. Kind of wiggle down. Oh, yes, I want you right there. Your shoulders should be pressing into the floor wherever you're operating here. You can always take this into modified legs up the wall pose as well, just like that. Head is center, it doesn't turn right or left. And from here, good. Carefully, carefully come out of there. So if you did a plow version, carefully take 1 foot at a time to the floor. Good. And then from here, you can safely move anything you used as a prop out from under. Good. And we are going to prepare to counter that. Good. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to extend the right leg long. I'm going to bring the left knee in. I'm grabbing behind it. I'm giving a gentle tug here. I'm also reaching with the other side. Just 3 breaths, 3 big breaths. And after the 3rd breath, we're going to take this into a twist to the right side. So I'm going to just take my right hand on the outside there. If you can't keep your foot from dangling in the floor or that bothers your leg, we can always put a folded blanket or something like that underneath the leg, which is what I'm going to do here. Trying to keep opposite shoulder grounded, maybe looking to the opposite side. Here we go. Breathing, expanding, softening. Breathe. And then from here, good. As you take your head back to center, gently glide that left leg back to center. And once it's back to center, you can bend that knee in, taking the other knee in, and we will switch that out. So before going to the other side, I'm going to go ahead and put my bolster on the left side. I'll use that for my knee as well. Good. Bringing in the right knee, good. Extending the left leg long. And as you give this a gentle tug here, kind of find those big 3 breaths. And then when ready, left hand on the outside of the right thigh. Yes, we're going to take that twist to the left. Good. Support yourself if you can't hold your foot up by itself. Good. Right shoulder is grounded. Maybe looking to the right. Good. 2 minutes here. And the breath and intention. Good. And then gently, good, as you take your head back to center, gently glide that right leg back to center. To bring that knee in, that the left knee can come in. Give yourself a little wiggle, wiggle. If you'd like to lift up into a hug, you can. And we're going to take this into Shavasana from here. So because I happen to have my bolster today, I'm going to bring that in. Actually, I want a neck pillow, so I've got to get up and get my folded blanket. Good. So find your Shavasana in any form that would feel good to you right now. Any prop, that you want to bring in. Like this is my favorite way to do Shavasana right here. Something under my legs, a little neck pillow. Just kind of find yours. Let yourself get about 10% more comfortable. Good. And I'll leave you here for a few moments, settling in, softening, and coming back to your intention, whatever that was for you. Choosing to stay longer if you'd like. Otherwise, taking some deep breaths here. Choosing that stillness and by your movement of fingers and toes. Choosing stillness, gently take the head and neck from side to side. And then from here, we'll come out the way that's best for you. So some of you are going to choose to take the knees into the chest and maybe get a full body hug. And others are just going to choose to move any props out of the way that may have been used, finding a full body stretch instead. Finding what feels good to your body. What do you need? And then when ready, bending both knees, rolling over to the right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. And then you can stay here as long as you need, or you can press yourself up to a comfortable seat where we started our practice. Giving yourself a moment to kind of reconnect. How do you feel? Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 touching the palms together. As you bring them down, touch the thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to the lips for good and kind words, and to the hearts for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, May you stay well. May you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, week, month, season ahead. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.